This clip came from my drive and fail February. There's some roadworks up ahead and all the traffic is queuing in the right lane, and it's effectively now blocking the junction. So rather than doing this, I sensibly use the left lane. The driver of the blue Mercedes wants to get in early, but this is just going to compound the problem. However, I totally understand why people do this. It's because they're always worried about people closing space down. But when you do as I did, the uneducated people are always likely to make things worse. Which is exactly what goes on here. The BMW driver's triggered, and all because there's a wrong assumption that I'm trying to get in front. I even use a right arm signal. The correct move is never to battle people like this. Just let them go in front. They're idiots. If the driver of that BMW had just backed off and literally created a little bit of space, flow would have continued. But instead they tried to battle, and it's got them nowhere. Why try and assert your dominance in this situation? That's not what the roads are about.
And that shows you exactly what people are like. Is what it is. You just deal with them. I'd rather have him in front rather than behind. Terrible.
Now you may wonder why I'm using this clip. Well, effectively, Cycling Mikey is exactly the same as this BMW driver. So, on to the breakdown of Mikey's clip. The first thing I'd like to talk about is this cyclist on the left and the junction coming up. Cyclists should be taking up a primary position to go past junctions like this, just in case vehicles overshoot. But Mikey does nothing, he just carries on. And although he's not right next to this cyclist at that junction, look where he is here. If there was a problem with this taxi on the left, both the other cyclist and Mikey are in trouble. I often say it when driving, but it's also the same when cycling. When there's potential risk, try and ride in a staggered formation. All these traits that we've just seen happen a little further up, and it's with this taxi that's passing. Mikey stays in a good position. There's junctions and there's a crossing. The driver of the taxi slows down smoothly and it's obvious he's not trying to push, unlike this cyclist. Mikey states that he's a road safety activist. Well, if you are Mikey, call this out as well. And the other cyclists from the opposite side. People using their phones while stationary in a queue of traffic is illegal and wrong, but is what we've just witnessed from these two cyclists lower or higher in risk? Watch closely what the taxi driver does. They're using all the road space, just like I did in my first clip.
Like, why would you do that? You just get in my way.
Seriously, the taxi overtook perfectly well, moved back to the left, and now they're holding back for the cyclist. They're using all the road space, just as I did in the first clip. This allows more traffic to flow through the junction, which we can see is the second set of lights up ahead. And now because Mikey incorrectly thinks the taxi's pushed in, he's going to act like the BMW driver. We can see that the road's closed up ahead. The taxi showed no signs that they're going to turn left. Remember, the BMW driver closed the space down, even though I was signalling, and exactly the same happens here. Although it is difficult to work out if and when the taxi driver did signal, but you honestly don't need that. Watch their speed. They don't slow down as if they were doing this left turn. Mikey's again doing this purposefully.
Hey, mind your mirrors, mate. Hey! What are you doing?
The taxi driver sensibly slows down and lets the idiot stay in front. Imagine just for a second if those roles were reversed. If Mikey was in that left lane and expecting to go out round the roadworks, would he have expected the taxi driver just to close the space down?
Check your mirrors and check your blind spots, you fool. And I don't know why you're pointing at the cycle lane. There's no cycle lane back there.
The taxi driver was well aware of Mikey's position, so they were checking the mirrors. And if you realise that blind spots are a big problem, Mikey, why did you decide to put yourself in one? And you just can't resist having another word, can you?
You should be checking your blind spot, mate. Check your blind spot next time.
What do you think about it? Think what I'm doing. I was in there going like...
You went to undertake, did you?
Mikey, you haven't got a clue.
You see what this is?
Yes, it's a content creator posing as a road safety activist, looking for incidents to create out of nothing.
Your job to be seen, mate.
And the taxi driver's absolutely spot on with that also. It's a mindset that I employ all the time, and it's crucial to safety, especially when you're cycling.
It's your job not to undertake. You're a professional driver. Use your blind spot.
He totally had you covered, Mikey, and you've tried to make a fool of him by posting this video. I think the taxi driver did a good job. They were positive to start, but then submitted when danger and risk increased. And they also let the idiot go in front, which mirrored what I did in the earlier clip. They do a left turn up at the end, and Mikey always has to have the last word. Was this slur for yourself or the camera?
Greasy oik.
Mikey reported the driver as usual, and it looks as though the Met didn't prosecute, so Mikey assumed something instead. This was an appallingly low standard of cycling, in my opinion. There was a successful attempt to block someone who was trying to change lanes and drive normally. Then a video was produced where fingers were pointed and someone didn't take responsibility for their own actions. I hope people see this video and don't try and copy others who make the situation worse, not better. Keep safe everyone. I'll see you soon.